You're very welcome to the Irish Political Roundup with me, Roisin and Chlerigh.
And me, Paul Brophy. And Roisin, we're outside a very significant place today. We're outside Leinster House, where the 34th Dail meets for the first time since the general election held on the 29th of November.
And Paul, we have in our own Kilkenny constituency 3 newly elected TDs.
Yep, we sure do.
Definitely Catherine Callahan, Fine Gael, definitely Peter Chlerigh, Fianna Fáil, and definitely Natasha Newson-Drennan from Sinn Féin. And Paul, there's lots of very young newly elected TDs.
Exactly. Of the 174 TDs that are elected to this house here, 66 Roisin are first time TD, and they come with a wide range of experience. You have Willie Aird of Fine Gael in Laois. He's been a councillor since 1979. He's a first time TD. And you have Owen Kenny of the Labour Party in Cork North Central. He's 24, so just goes to show the level of different experiences that are here in Leinster House.
And it's a really family day here.
Absolutely, it's a big day for people's families. Yeah.
So, Paul, for our American viewers, what is the job, role, and function for a Ceann Comhairle?
So basically, Roisin, the Ceann Comhairle is the Speaker of the House. So
equivalent to the Speaker of the House in
absolutely.
America.
It's a position that if a person is elected to, they must show total impartiality. So whoever is elected Ceann Comhairle today, they will be automatically returned at the next election. So their constituency will change in size. So if you take Verona Murphy, whose name has been put up and the name that's been speculated is most likely to win, she's a TD in Wexford. So at the next election, Wexford constituency will go from a 4-seater down to a 3-seater. So once you are elected, you're supposed to be impartial. You help decide and help run the business of the Dáil. You influence and you maintain the rules of the Dáil. You have the power to suspend people if they misbehave.
TDs misbehaving, Paul.
TDs misbehave, and it comes with a pretty big salary as well. It's over 250,000, and you're also
$250,000.
And you're also responsible for the Oireachtas Commission and the budget. So all that goes on with maintaining and running the houses of the Oireachtas here behind us, Leinster House. That comes under the Ceann Comhairle, and at the moment they're currently voting to elect a Ceann Comhairle. So Sean O'Farrell, who's been the Ceann Comhairle since 2016, his name has gone forward. So has his Fianna Fáil colleague John McGuinness, and Verona Murphy, independent from Wexford, as we mentioned, she's gone forward, and Inga Snuggy has gone forward from Sinn Féin. So it's similar vote as we would when we're voting for our TDs. You can vote 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on your preference. So you have to reach a quota. So the quota will probably be about 88. So whoever hits that magic number 88 after
88 is a very powerful number.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. All the 8s, 88, as they say in bingo talk. But yeah, 88 votes will get someone elected as a Ceann Comhairle, and that probably is going to be the only real main business of today. We won't have a vote for a Taoiseach, and it could be into the middle of January by the time we have a new government formed.
And Paul, do you know, it's the whole, I think it's the 34th Dáil.
Yeah.
So, we've gone past the 33rd Dáil. So we're now going into the 34th Dáil. So I would say a lot of things could change, and I say it's good, exciting times in 2025, locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally.
Yeah, absolutely. Internationally, of course, you have Donald Trump, who will take up office on the 20th of January. He's already appointed Edward Walsh, who's going to be the new.
I wonder if he has any connection to Kilkenny. Walsh is a very Kilkenny name.
It is indeed. Of course, Tommy Walsh was a great hurler for Kilkenny, and Ollie Walsh was also a great hurler for Kilkenny, so there could be Kilkenny connections. He's also meant to be a champion golfer as well. So.
And you're a golfing man, Paul.
Exactly. You might get a few rounds of golfing, and might even get an interview. You don't know.
Well, I know nothing about golf.
But yeah, and he's also comes from a construction background as well, so that's very interesting as well, because we still have
might help with the homeless situation.
Yes, we still have a very big housing situation in this, and that will probably not probably, it is the number one issue on the desk of the next Taoiseach, whoever that person will be, because Simon Harris has officially tendered his resignation, so he's caretaker Taoiseach for the moment as well. And yeah, interesting times ahead, because snap election in Germany, Canada, difficult.
And a lot of things are happening in Japan as well, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. So
And
it's going to be a very, very interesting year with a lot of potential events, and how Ireland is going to fare out as a result is going to be interesting to see. But hopefully,
Ireland, families are getting photographed.
Exactly.
This is a great family day, my camera.
Oh, massive.
This is a great family day for the members of the TDs.
Yeah.
It's a very, the family members are all coming.
We were inside. We saw people with their small children and stuff like that. So it's going to be like amazing for them to look back in years to come. So, big day. It's a first day of school really for the class of the 34th Dail.
And Paul, in some ways, it's first day of school with us.
Yeah.
And with Gavin O'Reilly giving us daily temporary media passes going forward, and for today. And we want to thank Gavin because it was very short notice.
Yeah.
And he ensured that we actually had. Oh, my camera. My camera's going.
They're okay.
That he ensured. Even though he's really busy in the press gallery, ensured that we got in.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Gavin Riley.
Exactly, and it was interesting as well, Roisin, with the increase in numbers to 174 TDs. Space in the Dáil is going to be an issue. So I know the OPW have had a look inside. So over the next few months, I'd say they will be making more space for more TDs. So, but we do like to say thank you very much for Gavin O'Reilly for helping us out today. And I'm really looking forward to being up here more often, Roisin, and get to talk to our local TDs, see how they're getting on, and also get to talk to TDs from other areas, from Cork, from Waterford,
the rural TDs
from Galway,
Dublin,
Kerry. There is a world outside the M50, and it's going to be really interesting to find out what's happening in these other areas as well, because we all know health, housing, cost of living, Roisin, are big issues across the country. But there's probably issues as well in parts of the country that we're not familiar with. So it's a great opportunity to find out things that we wouldn't necessarily know.
And it's also a great opportunity, Paul. We are a really tiny YouTube channel.
Tiny.
And we've had a great year.
Fantastic year.
We got I don't know how we got it, but we got press accreditations for the Fine Gael Ardèche, the Ain to Ardèche, and we also got the media accreditation for the local elections and the referendum.
And I believe, Roisin, between the local elections and the general election, we had nearly 7,500 viewers over those two elections. So to everyone that liked, shared, subscribed, viewed, thank you so much. It really means a lot to us.
Because this is about telling the story of the political landscape and geography here in Ireland. And it's also not just about the political landscape, the social landscape. And this isn't just about politicians. This is about what you, the ordinary people of Ireland, are talking about, what your issues are, what your questions are. So if you have any questions that you would like us to put to the TDs, please do get in touch with us.
Yeah.
And this is about you, the ordinary people, and this is about telling the story of our political landscape and Irish politics.
Yeah, and it's a great way to see how can you link local, regional, national, international, how they all
connected.
You might think, God, they're very disconnected at times, and sometimes they might be, but when you scratch beneath the surface, they're more connected than you would think.
And county councillors all work together for the betterment of their counties and the local county councils. And the MEPs also work together for the betterment of Ireland and what they can deliver from Ireland. So there's a completely different dynamic between local county councillors, MEPs and TDs.
Oh yeah, totally different. In Europe, especially, Roisin, because 750 MEPs, so the only way you're going to get anything done is by collaboration, because it's blocks that decide the direction of things, and Europe has a very important role to play as regards our fishing quotas, which we've been talking extensively about over the last year.
And our food quality.
And our food quality.
And disabilities and autism.
70% of the laws that end up in Ireland don't originate in this building behind me. They originate over in Europe. So Europe has a massive role to play in Ireland and how it moves forward. And that's something, Roisin, I'm looking forward to in the new year, chatting to our MEPs, because at the count we spoke to Kathleen Function, who's Sinn Féin MEP for Ireland South, and her colleague Cynthia Murdoch, who Fianna Fáil is also an MEP for Ireland South. So I'm really looking forward to talking to our MEPs more and seeing how the European, regional, national, local, how they all mash up together.
And I'm interested because Catherine Callahan is a former Defence Force member in the Air Force.
Absolutely.
And so I'm really interested to see, what might happen for the Defence Forces. Will we have a separate Department of Defence and a Minister of Defence? Will we also have, and I think the Maria Walsh MEP has also requested that we have a Minister for the Fisheries.
Yes, Minister of State.
As I've said when I was even on my local radio programme back 7 years ago, and even up to 2 years ago, I was always saying on my women's programme, on the Woman to Woman show, that we should have a Department for Women and Children and a Minister for Women. Yeah. And I know that's probably stretching the arm a bit, but it's something we do need, them three departments.
Absolutely. Well, I keep an eye on the Department of Children, Disability, Equality and Integration. There's way too much going on there, Roisin. That needs to be broken up in some way, shape or fashion. So that what you're saying could happen. Yeah. So, it's something to keep an eye on over the next couple of weeks.
And also, I think we need to make right the wrongs of our past before we can move on with integrity, dignity and honour for the people of Ireland, from the mother and baby homes, from the cervical smear, from the women of honour and the women within our defence forces. And this has been going on for years, especially with Karina Malloy. And if anybody's watching this, I do recommend you go out and buy Karina Malloy's book. I'll put a photograph of the book at the end of this. Go in and order the Karina Malloy's book. She was one of the first female members of our defence forces and soldiers in our Irish Army, and it really tells the story of the first group of women who joined the defence forces. So I'm really interested, because Adam Dorito is also having the Dorito bill, and he's lobbying for that to come into law and act in America. Exactly. Will that have some influence over here for our members of our defence forces as well?
Absolutely, yeah. Adam has been working on that bill for a good number of years, Roisin. So hopefully over the next few years that bill will become law in the United States. As Adam was saying, it takes about 7 years for a bill from start to finish. Like in Ireland, if you really wanted to, you can pass a bill in 90 days. You can, and then if it doesn't, it goes back. Whoops, it days in my camera. My skills isn't. As my son said, technology is wasted on me. Oh God.
But anyway, Paul, look, we're here. We're a tiny YouTube channel here in Ireland, and the Irish Political Roundup, and we really appreciate getting here and being the voice of the people of Ireland and telling the story of what people are talking locally about politics and social and economic and political issues in the coffee shops, at the school gate, in the kindergarten, and in the workplaces around in the lunchroom, coffee dock and water cooler, and also telling, as we said at the beginning, the political story of the political landscape and the characters and people involved.
100%. And for anyone who hasn't been inside Leinster House, Roisin, I don't know you, but it's a beautiful building inside. It's so very well designed and layout, and the portraits are fantastic. So they do tours here as well. So if you are in Dublin, they do tours when the Dáil is not sitting. So it's definitely something, if you're looking for something to check out, if you're in Dublin for a day, it's definitely worth checking out, because you can kind of feel you're in around the corridors of power.
And the history of this, and the Kildare Street, and like you mentioned in the previous interview. The last time we were up, we were outside the gates. We didn't think we'd have a media pass for inside, Paul.
No.
And we only applied in November, and that was just before the election. We didn't think we would get it, but we tried it.
Exactly, and it's interesting. The first stall actually didn't sit here, Roisin. It actually sat in the Mansion House around, which is just around the corner. That's where the current Lord Mayor of Dublin has residence. So that was an illegal stall that met in January 1919. Of course, there was a general election in the UK. The Sinn Féin TDs that didn't take their seats in Westminster, they sat and formed. And what was an illegal law back in 1919, of course, Cathal Brugha, Cathal Brugha Barracks was the first Ceann Comhairle, and they're actually in the process of electing a Ceann Comhairle. So it just goes to show we've come a long way since that first Dáil met over 105 years ago.
Well, we're going to leave you here now. We're going to get this up on YouTube, and then we'll hopefully come back with some videos of and interviews with newly elected TDs and also many TDs around the country, but especially for our Carlow Kilkenny constituency, where we're from, Paul.
Absolutely.
We'll chat to our local and any other local and new TDs or any rural TDs as well. And thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe and share, because this is how we get it around to the people of Ireland. Like small YouTube channels can make waves and can get the message out there. And it's all about, I say, Paul, it's about communication. It's about, and it's about everyone having a voice, and everybody having an opinion, and everybody else, and respecting one another's opinions. That hasn't really been happening in the last couple of years.
No.
Because everyone has been whistling. I was on a phone call last night to someone. She said, Roisin, I want to put things up on Twitter, on X. But I get so much abuse. It's as if I'm even silencing myself and censoring and editing myself. And we need to have Paul.
We don't live in an echo chamber in life, so why should we live in an echo chamber in media, be it in print or social media?
But even in society, Paul.
Society.
And everybody knows I'm from Derry, and I grew up with people who were of all different opinions and backgrounds and opinions than me, and we all did it so respectfully. And then we went out buying our clothes for the discos and the dancing and the makeup, and we all used to share clothes and makeup. So it's about just respect and valuing one another's opinion.
Exactly. Everyone has an opinion, and everybody is entitled to hold their opinion. And I suppose it's important as well, Roisin, that our voice your voice, the viewer, can be our voice as well. So if you have any issues or any questions that you want us to bring up to politicians, be they local, national, European, international, please do get in touch, because our viewers are number one.
And so we're going to close off now, and we'll see you again in a little while.
I'm now joined here by the new Fine Gael CD for Carlow Kilkenny, Catherine Callahan. Catherine, first day of school, big day.
Massive day.
Absolutely delighted.
Oh, I'm just thrilled, Paul. I feel such a sense of honour. I got on the train in Carlow this morning with my family to leaving my hometown to be coming up on behalf of the people of Carlow and Kilkenny to take my seat in the Dáil and be part of the 34th Dail Eireann. I'm nearly still at a pinch me moment, but I'm just so honoured.
So I'd say it's been a fairly hectic couple of weeks since you were elected in early December. So what have you been up to between, say, when you were elected and today?
Well, I have still been answering lots of reps, because there's still an awful lot of work that still needs to be done, and and then I'm trying to figure my way out to try and build relationships with the different departments that I'm involved in. I have to say, the staff here in the Oireachtas and even the party of Fine Gael, they've been so supportive. There's a great structure there. There's lovely mentorship, and you feel like no question is a silly question. So if you're not sure where you're going, if you're not sure who's the correct person to ask about stuff, they have loads of people to help you. I'm still working on getting my office. I haven't gotten my office yet in Oireachtas, but nobody has. And I need to get my constituency office up and running as well. But I'm trying to take my time and make sure that I have that I'm working with the right people that are a good fit for me, that are going to really help me do the great work for Carlow Kilkenny that I need to do. And so I'm very hopeful now that all of that will be all figured out in January.
I was just having a look at the Fine Gael Parliamentary Party. You have about 38 TDs. 22 of the 38 are new first-time TDs. There's yourself, and there's the likes of Willie Aird, who's been a councillor since 1979. So he's a first-time TD as well. So there's various different levels of experience.
There is,
in the parliamentary
absolutely,
party as well.
Absolutely, varying different levels of political experience. But then there is other people like myself who are coming into the space with so much life experience. As you know, Paul, I've been a member of the Defence Forces.
Absolutely.
I think I'm okay in saying there's definitely nobody else in the Fine Gael party that has been a serving member of the Defence Forces. So that, and our party is really has to be commended for encouraging people like me, I suppose atypical political people, to get involved, to sit at that table and really ensure that our voice is being heard, and the voice of the people that we represent.
And what would be the top issues that you want to tackle head on?
Well, autism supports in school, really, really, really important in primary school. I want to see more good attention being given to our Defence Forces. That's really, really top priority for me in Kilkenny. But the autism supports across Carlow Kilkenny is critical. And then I would like to also see better mental health supports. And of course, looking after rural Ireland as well, that's a really, really important thing. So I'm trying to really focus my attention on the things that I can really action well, rather than trying to spread myself too thinly, and if I could tip away with those and make some really good progress on that. I already have a meeting set up in January with Louise from Autism Heroes and Councillor Paul Duke. We're going to be coming up. We're going to be meeting the Taoiseach to discuss the plans that we have for better autism supports in mainstream classrooms in primary schools.
Exactly, and that seemed to be a big issue that was coming up in the general election.
Massive.
Autism service, disability services.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, this is the opportunity to make a change here.
Absolutely, and we have a really good opportunity as well now that we have been actively encouraged that if there are things like the piece about the Defence Forces, autism services in school, that we can actually input that into our deputy leader, Helen McAtee, and she can take that part or bring it forward as part of the programme for government then as well, for our government negotiations. Yeah, absolutely.
Are currently ongoing as well, and Carlow has 2 TDs as well, so 2 of the 5 TDs are from Carlow. So Carlow did vote Carlow, and it has paid off. What difference do you think that will make having an extra Carlow-based TD in the constituency?
Yeah, I think it's going to be absolutely super. We'll be able to get twice the amount of work done. And even having 2 strong voices speaking for Carlow at the in our national government is going to make a massive difference. It can only be a good thing in my view.
And Carlow it has its challenges. We're quickly on say housing and health, but it's got a lot of real positive things. The university campus, the C2 campus there in Carlow is doing extremely well.
And we really need to keep a very close eye on that as well, and ensure that there's more scope for development there. And I'd love to see more, broadening out of the courses that are offered there. The courses that are currently being offered are absolutely fantastic. But I think it's fair to say the management and the leadership in SATU have the same feeling. They have plans, they have progression on their mind, and I would love to just for them to know that I'm here to support, and I will absolutely be speaking about SATU any chance I get in the Dáil.
Absolutely. Well, Catherine, thanks a million for taking the time to chat to us here on the Irish Political Roundup. And if you want to speak into the camera there, if you want to say a word to the voters in Carlow Kilkenny.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. Everybody in Carlow Kilkenny, thank you so much. Tá grá mór agam agus tá me cóbuíoch leat for voting for me in an Tábhacón. This year, it was absolutely the honour of my life to be elected, and I assure you I will work so hard to ensure that I deliver on behalf of Muintir, Cathaoirleach agus Kilkenny. Nullig hunna díobh go léir. Go raibh míle mágad.
I'm now joined by Padder Tobin, TD for Meath East, I believe.
Meath West,
sorry, I beg your pardon.
No worries.
And into second TD, Paul Lawless, who's TD for Mayo. Gentlemen, you're very welcome to the Irish Political Roundup. Padder, you're coming back with an extra TD, and you've increased your national vote as well. So overall, you must have been very pleased with how your party fared at the last election.
We're delighted. This year, Aintu has definitely come of age. So we were the only party to stand up to the establishment during the referendums. We won those referendums. In the European elections, we won 8 council seats. We also, in the European elections, we got a bigger vote than People for Profit, Soc Dems and the Labour Party. In this general election gone by, we doubled our votes. We actually got the biggest increase of vote of any political party, and obviously doubled our membership here. And on top of that, we actually fought an election in the north of Ireland where we challenged establishment there. And we're in the middle of the Shannon elections now, hopefully to return an individual very soon there too.
Absolutely. And increasing your number of CDs, increasing your vote, that all has a massive implication in a positive sense. Now you have access to state funding. What does that mean for a party like yourselves?
It does. We've broken through the thresholds in terms of state funding, and people probably don't realise how important this is. So we've been kind of living on fumes for the last 5 years in terms of party organisation. A number of years ago, for the right reasons, the government lowered massively the level of funding that political parties could get from the general public. And the reason being is because it's a large number of corporations and particular interests were starting to buy politicians to a certain extent. But the negative effect that had was it made it next to impossible for an organisation to grow, to actually meet the threshold. And that has nearly a kind of a barrier effect to new political entrants. But we've managed to break through that barrier, and we'll be able to employ 6, 7, 8 new staff for the purpose of developing policy, engagement, structure, organisation, all of those issues.
You probably hope to maybe hire a general secretary or something.
Yeah, so we've already got about 6 or 7 staff positions that we need to fill over the next while, and this is going to make a real big difference to ourselves.
And as I said, you have 8 councillors as well, and you're looking to hopefully get someone elected to the Shannon as well. So hopefully you'll be joined by another into Oireachtas member in the near future.
We'll have gone from maybe 3 elected reps at the start of the year to, please God, 11 by the end of the year, which will be a big difference for the likes of ourselves, for sure.
And at the moment, they're counting the votes for the Count Carla. There's talk that Ronan Murphy is the likely person to be successful. What do you see? There's kind of the big items that this 34th Dail is going to have to face head on.
Well, one of our frustrations at the moment is the length of time it's taking for the government to form. Okay, so this is like, in the real world, outside of this political bubble, people are still struggling from a housing crisis. 15,000 people currently without a home, rents, record levels, house prices, record levels, young people actually emigrating because of the lack of housing. Secondly, people are to the pin of the collar with a cost of living crisis still. Many people are really finding it difficult to put food on the table this Christmas, to heat their homes this Christmas. Also we have still an absence of a government accountability, where the government is incinerating taxpayers' money on projects where nobody seems to be held responsible or held to account at all. And yet what we see in here is the establishment political parties on a merry dance, a very slow dance, and that dance is frustrating for us, because Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael are going to be the next government, along with somebody else. And Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael are the same party practically now. There isn't a cigarette paper between the difference of those two political parties. The next government is going to be a mirror image of the last government, and yet we have all of this time being wasted. Secondly, we have parties like, Sinn Féin, who are going to nominate a Taoiseach, knowing that they're not going to get a Taoiseach elected. The Labour Party saying that they're not going to go into government, but yet having government formation talks. The Soc Dems doing the same. And now the government is talking about not coming back until the 20th of January. And so, we're going to go through a winter period where we're going to see the number of people on trolleys radically increase. And yet the establishment is so detached from the urgency of real people's lives that they're talking about not coming back until January 22nd. We aim to say that the government should be back on the January 6th, just like everybody else.
Absolutely. And now I'm going to hand over to your colleague, Paul Lawless. Deputy Paul Lawless, congratulations on being elected to the Dáil. You must be really delighted, and today must be a really special day for you.
Yeah, it's the first day, for my first day of a sitting Dáil. And the first day in many ways, the first day inside the Dáil chamber as well, which was quite an experience. Having watched politics and current affairs and the screens, of great politicians over the years, and watched this man here beside me for many years. So it's great to be sitting in the seat next to Pater Tobin, and it's a privilege, but it comes with a huge sense of responsibility. And I feel that, and to deliver for the people of Mayo now is a really important issue, and I think that's key that it all resumes as quickly as possible.
And since you've been elected, Paul, what have you had to do to kind of get yourselves, the infrastructure in place to be, a functioning TD now for Mayo?
Yeah, so there's been a significant amount of logistical work around offices and the recruitment of staff and many other things such as that. So being a first-time TD, it comes with a lot of work. Just to get started, and I think that's probably something that sometimes people overlook. But the real key issue for me is that the Dáil reconvenes as quickly as possible, so to allow me to actually do my job as a TD. I was elected almost a month ago now, and yet our ability to exercise our mandate is significantly hampered while the merry dance goes around government formation.
And what would be your key priorities during this Dáil term?
Well, on a national basis, I think accountability is really, really important. That the public see value for money, for taxpayers' money. It's critically important. Housing as well is, it's a major issue for particularly my generation, and it's an issue that is experienced in Mayo in the same way as Dublin. For example, there's significant parts of Mayo that are still not even considered for affordable housing, and of course healthcare. Not just in Mayo, but right across the country. I've helped hundreds of people get off waiting lists, and it's something that I'm passionate about. And there's major issues in Mayo University Hospital, for example, that I'm really keen to get started and to try to deliver for those people who are being treated on trolleys in Mayo University Hospital, and many others who are treated on chairs, and it's simply unacceptable in this day and age. And there's many other issues as well, but there's some of the
health and housing are probably big issues. I shouldn't say probably, they are big issues in Mayo as well. And I suppose your own background, you were a PE teacher in Ballyhonus Community School, and before that you were playing in England with Derby County, so you come from a sporting background.
That's right, yeah. So I most recently taught PE and maths in Ballyhonus Community School, and before that I spent some time playing football in England and America as well. So sport is a huge passion of mine, and look, I grew up playing sports and I enjoyed it immensely. Unfortunately, don't get the time that I used to, but I still follow it,
And it's interesting as well, the FAI announced the creation of a third tier, which is supposed to kick off in 2026. Mayo FC are potentially one of the teams that could be joining that. I'm sure that's something that you're going to keep a close eye on, and I'm sure you're helping out there.
I'm eager to work with the great committee, and we have a great football community in Mayo, and it's probably, it's one of the reasons why I was able to experience the success I did, because coming from a rural area, you don't always get the opportunities that sometimes the players in Dublin and the urban areas get. But thankfully, I was able to compete at a decent level and was able to play for underage Irish teams, etc. And those people deserve great credit. They've been working hard to develop Mayo FC, and I am looking forward to working with them in my new role as a TD for the county.
Absolutely. Well, Pater Tobin, Paul Lawless, two TDs for Ian too. We wish you the very best of luck for the rest of the Dáil term, and hopefully we'll be speaking to you again on the Irish Political Roundup very, very soon.
Thank you very much.
And I'm now joined by Michael Fitzmaurice, who is a member of Independent Ireland, and he is a TD for Roscommon Galway, I believe. So, Michael, congratulations!
Thank you.
You've been re-elected to Dail Eireann, the 34th Dáil, and Independent Ireland. You're coming back with 4 TDs, so you'll be hoping to make an impact in this Dáil session.
Yeah, sure. Look at it. It's early stages at the moment, as you're aware. Today is the election of the Clerigh, and it'll be a few hours' time before we know that. And my understanding is that it'll be sometime in January before we have a definite scenario of what the next government will be. I don't think you'd have to be a great mathematician to know at the moment what it's looking like.
Yep.
We have made it very clear that we're open to talk to the two main parties. we have made it very clear that we want to be in government. In actual fact, most of our policies that they thought they didn't agree with 6 months ago, they have taken them and put them into their own documents, which is a good sign. But my understanding is that over the coming week or whatever, there may be talks, but I hope they're not just dress rehearsals.
Yes.
I hope they're not just ticking boxes, because there's a lot of crises out there at the moment, be it housing, be it disabilities, be it agriculture, be it balanced regional development, and we have got to make sure that we hit the ground running. And I think in the first 100 days of any government, they have to call a housing emergency for social and affordable. They have to change planning laws, especially for rural housing, and we've got to make sure that we do that rapidly, or if we don't, to be the same old, same old.
And of course, you're coming from a very rural area. I suppose rural housing in particular is probably a big issue for you.
There's kids from the countryside, or youngsters from the countryside that's going to Dublin to college. They're going to Limerick, they're going to Cork, they're going to Galway. We have failed as a country in accommodation for students. We look at countries right around Europe that we'd say are a bit behind us. They have better accommodation and they have on campus everything sorted. And we have, there's not everyone stays or lives in the countryside. There's small towns, there's larger towns, there's cities. And we've got to make sure that we put the infrastructure in place. But above all, if we don't do balanced regional development, the likes of Dublin will nearly tip over if we keep trying to drive people into the one area.
And of course,
there's opportunities there for that. Like, we've made it clear, we've a comprehensive policy document done. One example of it would be on the likes of the DMAPs for the offshore wind, 30 miles out on the continental shelf. They've sat in it for 5 years, even though they're always talking about climate.
Absolutely. And as you said, Independent Ireland, you're a relatively new party. I think you were formed, was it late last year?
Yeah,
if my memory serves me correct. Of course, we have Shannon elections that are going to be taking place as well. You're hoping to grow your numbers there, and you had a good local elections as well.
Yeah, we had 24 councillors, and we have also hoped to get a nomination in for the Shannon. And let's see how that goes. Look, we're crawling before we walk.
Yep.
We're small. But the one thing about it is that every part of it is diligent workers that are trying to, build something for people right around this country. This isn't a party of my back door stuff, or do a deal for a community centre or a half mile of a road. This is about making sure that the community centre and the half mile of the road is in every county or in every community, because we're very much focused on communities in our policies.
Well, Michael, thanks a million for taking the time to chat to us here on the Irish Political Roundup. I wish you every success for the new Dáil.
No problem.
Thank you. Thanks a million.
Paul, at the beginning of the year, we didn't even dream. We dared to dream, but we got the Irish Beshers.
Exactly.
Then we also got we sneaked into the referendum.
We did.
And then I drove quickly up to Dublin Castle.
Exactly.
And then we got the local and European elections, media accreditation.
Yeah.
And then we got the general election, and it just goes to show small YouTube channels can do it, exactly. And especially with the small subscribers.
Exactly. And there's other channels like us out there, maybe small. Please, we'd love to talk to you, because we're always open to sharing ideas and collaborating where we can.
And we really want to thank you, the viewers, for inspiring us and giving us that, keep going. And to all the people who've said this year, keep going. We want to hear alternative views. And that's also from politicians themselves who have said, keep going. We want to hear different alternative viewpoints, and that's what's needed.
Exactly.
And it's all about agreeing to disagree respectfully. And I think that's key.
That is key. And so, Roisin, it was great to chat to some of our newly elected TDs, particularly Catherine Callahan from our own constituency in Carlow, Kilkenny. It was like the first day of school. So, an interesting times ahead for all the newly elected TDs in the 34th Dail.
And also, but all the young people entering politics, it's really good. Young people, and they're going to really learn from really experienced, seasoned politicians, because politics is a skill, and you need that skill and that mentorship and understanding and growing up within the politics. And you know what, politics, I've always said, when people say, "Oh, I'm not interested in politics." Politics starts from the moment you're born, where you're born, what hospital, what school you go to, and where you live, and at the school, in the school playground, and your education, everything. And I'm just, Paul, who would have thought 2 years ago when we set up the channel that we would have said, "Oh my God, we got the audacious, we got the local European elections, and then we got the general election, and then the first pass to the
exactly.
Dail Eireann."
I certainly wouldn't. If you said that to me 2 years ago, I would probably have thought you're mad.
But we want to thank everyone who helped us get here, and also help everybody who encouraged us to keep doing what we're doing. And and thank Gavin for actually granting a small YouTube media accreditation in Leinster House, and to everyone, you the viewers. And I think that's really important. And the people who helped us get here, our guests, and everybody who came on the Irish Political Roundup.
Absolutely.
And so it's just exciting times ahead.
It surely is. And Roisin, I'd like to say a big thank you to you for all your help and support throughout the year. We have been very, very busy, and I can tell our viewers straight away this channel wouldn't be what it is without Roisin. She's a tour de force, as they say. But
I give you the 5 next fall.
Yeah.
No,
but,
thank you,
no,
Paul.
it's been a incredible experience, and never did I ever think I'd be up in Leinster House covering the first sitting of a new Dáil. So it was an amazing experience, and I must say the staff up in Leinster House were extremely helpful and very nice as well. So I think,
also the guy you shook on.
Yeah, exactly. I think these are people that go under the radar. You mightn't see them, but they play a very, very important role in keeping the wheels of democracy rolling in our national parliament.
And Paul, I want to say thank you to you too.
Thank you.
Because about 2.5 years ago when I suggested it to you, you took a chance too.
Yeah.
And you went, "Oh God, Roisin, what are you going to say? What are you going to do?" And a couple of times I do look at your face and you say, "What is she going to say next?"
Yeah, exactly. But look, it's been an incredible experience, and we've got into places that we would never got into in ordinary circumstances. So it was an excellent idea that you came up with, and I'm looking forward to 2025 and what that brings.
So we like to wish you, our viewers and our guests, and to the people of Ireland, thank you so much indeed for taking the time to actually view our channel and like and subscribe and view it, and also wish everyone a happy New Year and a happy Christmas, and to Adam Dorito as well, and to all the women in the Women's View, a very, very happy Christmas and a very happy, successful, healthy 2025.
Yep. Wishing you all a very happy Christmas, and we'll see you in 2025.
And my son is calling me and calling me and calling me while we're videoing this. Until next time, happy Christmas. Well, how do you say it in Irish?
Ihanulach or something?
Yeah, Ihanulach.
I think my Irish is not brilliant, but hopefully.
Happy Christmas and a happy New Year.